Hi folks, what I'm about to show you is a special bench press method called contrast benching. And the goal of this method is to develop as much speed on the bar as possible. It's different from a drop set or a cluster set. It's not really even a superset. There's different aims and purposes for doing each of those special methods. And this one in particular, the contrast benching, is to develop as much speed on the bar as possible. So you're going to see how we do that as we go through the workout here. Now what you have to understand about the contrast benching is I did this is week 1, day 1 of a 4-week block of training where I'm benching 3 days a week. And so this bench workout is just a bench workout in isolation, and you have to realize and recognize that on this program I'm benching 3 days a week, and so it's not just enough to do this one workout once a week. There's other things involved with bench pressing, and so you have to tap into those other qualities in multiple bench workouts a week. Okay, so this is just one workout that I'm showing you, one special method. And I'm taking you through my warm-up here, and the reason is I want you to see that every rep from the bar all the way up to my working sets are exactly the same. I try to make them exactly the same in terms of my setup, how I bring my feet up on the bench, to how I try to get as high up on my traps as possible, to my grip, to how I'm bringing the bar out over my chest, the place where I touch it on my chest. It all is the same. So when you step on the bench, everything from the bar all the way up to your working sets should be the same quality of movement. Just because it's a lighter load doesn't mean it should be sloppy. So I'm trying to, during this particular warm-up on my lighter sets, generate as much speed as I can on the bar, because today's focus is speed. So I'm trying to get my nervous system primed and ready for some fast movements here. This is my last warm-up set of 140 kilos. And again, trying to set it up exactly the same every single time here. So moving into the contrast benching, this is going to be my first working set. I didn't splice the video or edit the video at all here, so you're going to see exactly how one set is done. So you're picking a fairly significant load here. The load that you pick totally depends, anywhere from 80 to 95%. And on this particular day, I'm doing 4 reps at 175. And again, over the weeks, the load, the sets, the reps change. So you have to keep in mind what your goals are and what you're trying to work. So first set of 4 reps there. Now the video is going to keep going here, and you're going to see over the next 30 seconds I'm going to strip the weight down to 125 kilos. So I'm dropping 50 kilos, which is about 70% of the load that I have on the bar. Now the weight that you drop to is going to depend as well. It's going to depend on your experience, in terms of your level of training. It's going to depend on what your 1 rep max is, and again, what your other bench days look like, because you have to monitor the intensity of each day if you want to avoid overtraining. So I take that's about 30 to 40 seconds rest, and now the goal here is I've had a heavy load on my body now, and I'm trying to develop as much speed with this 70% load as possible. I'm trying to just drive as quick as I can. Now I set it up exactly the same way as I would a heavy bench, and I'm only performing 2 reps here. And I'm driving up with as much speed as I can. So one set is 6 reps, split up into a 4 plus 2, 4 heavy, 2 speed. Okay. Now you might pick up on that I was pausing those reps. Now those are just my regular bench reps. I typically do quick pauses on most of my reps. So that is just a regular bench for me. I would still recommend pausing those reps because you need to be able to drive off your chest with as much speed as possible from a dead stop, especially if you're a competitive bench presser. Now this one I spliced the video so you don't see me taking the weights off, but this is back down to 125 on my second set, and again I'm going to do 2 reps here, and I'm going to do 2 reps as quick as I can. That's what the contrast method is. It's a heavy load plus a speed. Okay. So for the third set, I'm back up to the same weight. So you're going to see that this particular workout on week 1, day 1 of this cycle of training is 6 sets. So I'm doing 6 sets all at the same load. Third set, this is still feeling pretty easy to me. Still be able to generate some speed on this heavier load here. I find that anybody can do 2 sets at a heavy weight, 3 sets, maybe 4 sets, but to do 5 or 6 sets, that's where you're going to see, that's where you're going to build work capacity. That's where you're going to be able to build your strength, is in multiple sets. And work capacity and bench press is a big component. You're going to see that I forgot to put on those 2.5s that are sitting up on the rack there. So this is actually 120 instead of 125. That was an error. That was supposed to be at 125. So don't change the weight. The weights, once you pick the weights stay the same. This is my 4th set here. And I'm setting it up the exact same way. I'm trying to get up as high on my traps as possible. Trying to squeeze my shoulder blades together. And while I bring my feet down to the floor, I'm trying to maintain that position as much as I can. And every rep from the first set all the way to the 6th set, I'm trying to make look the same. Even though it's getting heavier and I'm getting fatigued, I'm trying to hit the same spot. I'm trying to make the eccentric range of motion look the same and the drive off the chest look just as quick. Back down to 125 here. And trying to develop as much speed as I can. So, as I said, this workout is in isolation of many bench workouts that I do in a week. I don't believe that bench pressing is a one time per week activity. You need to build frequency. You need to have frequency in the movement in order to develop a good quality movement pattern. So it needs to be multiple times per week, and this is one bench workout in that series. Now I've completed this training cycle, and I actually worked up to 195. Now I wasn't doing 4 reps. The reps changed and the sets changed, but I was able to move the weight up over the weeks. And again, it all depends what those other bench days look like and what the goal of the of your training program is. So I believe this is my 5th or 6th set here. This is where it starts to get challenging. I'm only taking about 2 to 3 minutes rest in between sets. So after I drop the contrast and I want to go back to the heavier load, I'm only taking 2 to 3 minutes rest here. And hopefully all of these sets look like my first set here. So for more information, you can visit www.pursuitofstrength.com. There you go. Thank you.